gentlemen, on this drenching night, performance and discipline and focus are not just football terms. They apply to this great group of kids, too. Let's hear it for the Northern Marching Band. Ladies and gentlemen, the Northern Band will once again be coming to your door on October, collecting bottles and cans for things. The members hope to raise money to support their music program for the 96-97 school year. We thank you in advance for your patronage. Danny Ryan was going to be here tonight. Unfortunately,
Welcome back to an exciting second half of Port Huron Northern, Port Huron High School football action. With me again is Creston Miller.
Hi.
So how do you think the game's gone so far, Creston?
Well, it's a great game so far, Alex. A lot of banging, a lot of short runs and negative yards. Both teams are doing an excellent job on defense, shutting each other down.
That seems to be one of the major things in this game, is that there's been quite a few turnovers today, coming from, you know, your onside kick to your interceptions and things like that.
Well, yeah, given these weather conditions, you know, that ball is very slippery and it slides out very easy.
The rain seems to be coming down in a light mist now, so that's going to help to ease the slipping on the ball just a little bit. We've got about 2 minutes left until the start of the second half. Northern seems to be stretching out a little bit, but the Big Reds, on the other hand, they just kind of seem to be standing around.
It's going to be interesting to see how both teams come out this half. See if they change their style a little bit on the offense, or if they keep with their pounding running attacks, which are just trying to wear the defenses down.
Both sides have some runners that are doing fairly good for them right now. For PH, I'd have to say it would be Rathje. Rathje's come up real big today on some runs, but on the other hand, on the other side of the is Ken Nelson from Northern. Nelson seems to be not as big as Rathje, but consistent. he doesn't seem to lose yards very many times.
No, once Nelson gets going, there's not a whole lot of people around that can catch him. He has excellent speed.
And it, like you said, it will be interesting to see how each team comes out and see how their strategies have changed to see if they can get some points on the board.
Okay, and we're almost set here for the kickoff to the second half. PH will be kicking off to Northern.
And the Huskies take the field. Heading back for them to receive the kickoff is Ken Nelson, Dave Stroh, and Trevor Weston.
Tony Washington to kick off for the Big Reds.
Washington, hand up in the air. And here he goes. Onside kick. Oh, and it only went 1 yard. So it's going to be Port Huron Northern football on their own 49-yard line. That's, or actually, Big Red's 41-yard line. So that's kind of a bad way to start the second half of the football game.
Yeah, Washington didn't quite get all of his foot he wanted to get on that. I think they were looking for the onside kick on that one.
Yep, yeah. They owe Northern one after Northern got him right off the bat with the onsides. Split wide is Dave Hale and Scott Palmatier. Shock behind the ball.
Weston in motion.
Shock hands off, and it looks like Dave Stroh on the carry. Stroh gets mobbed by a whole group of Big Red defenders.
Stroh is a big, strong kid. He's just drives and drives and drives. He's excellent, hard runner for the Huskies.
The one thing about Dave Stroh is that he never stops moving his legs. So if somebody does slip off, he can keep pounding away for more yards, which is something that is often hard for running backs to learn. But once they get it down, it proves to be really effective. Shock back.
Hands off to Jefferson. Mark Jefferson goes nowhere.
Jefferson gains about a yard on the play. Brought down by C.J. Wendell.
That was an excellent read by the Big Reds there. They stepped right up and stuffed Jefferson. Plugged the holes well.
Once again, Hale and Palmatier split wide for the Huskies.
Third and 8.
The snap. Shot goes to Stroh. Stroh grinding out 10 yards on a run. What a nice run by Dave Stroh.
See, that's what we were just talking about. Stroh just keeps those legs pounding.
He keeps them moving, and when somebody latches on, he delivers the blow to the defender so that sometimes he can knock them backwards and gain an extra yard or two.
Yeah, that's what a fullback should do. They should just lower that head and pound right through them players, especially when they get to that defensive backfield.
So it will be Huskies ball, 1st and 10 on the Big Reds 30. Nelson in motion. Nelson.
Jefferson.
Fake to Jefferson. Jefferson loses a good 4 yards on the play.
He's yanked down immediately by Taddy.
Was just kind of standing there when Taddy wrapped him up.
Not much you can do once Dave Taddy gets a hold of you, though. Okay, so it's 2nd and 9 for the Huskies.
9 minutes and 45 seconds left in the third quarter of this contest. It's 2nd and 9 on the Big Reds 29-yard line. Shock behind the ball. Hands off to Weston. Weston grinds out 3 yards on the play. Wendell once again on the tackle. And Taddy got the assist on that one.
If there's a football there, look for Dave Taddy to be around it.
Dave Taddy just kind of seems to have a map to where the runners are going to go, and more than likely will have a hand in the tackle. We've got Chris Manulo and Aaron White split way wide.
Along with Ryan Hustick.
Shock back to pass. Shot goes to White. Oh, or Hustick, and Hustick gets pounded by Rathje in a totally legal defensive effort. What a nice stop.
Excellent play there by the Big Reds defensive backfield. They had double coverage on Hustick that time, and Shock thought he saw an opening and tried getting it in there, but excellent defense there by the Big Reds.
You kind of got to wonder what Shock was thinking, throwing it into double coverage like that, when it looked like Manulo on the far left side had his man beat one-on-one. But again, Hale and Palmatier are split wide.
4th and 8 for the Huskies. Shock looks back, he rolls, he's gonna keep it.
Shock to the 15, and
picks up the Northern first down.
What a nice run by Shock. I think that's the 3rd or 4th time this game that Shock has kept the ball. And 3 times out of the 4, it's proven pretty good for them.
There's a nice shot of some of the Northern crowd there enjoying tonight's football action.
And it looks like we've got a timeout on the field.
5, 6, 7, 2, 0.
And so we're going to pause for just a moment. Okay, so the Huskies step back up to the line. The ball on the Big Reds 15. They've got 4 chances. This looks to be their best scoring chance all game.
They're driving the field well. They have the Big Reds backed up. Let's see what Shot comes up with this on this first down play. Hands to Jefferson once again.
Jefferson gets snuffed out again. That's the 3rd time Jefferson's had his hands on the ball, and I think the Huskies have lost yards all 3 times.
Jason Hodgins is right there to wrap him up, grab the feet.
And again, another big PH defender in Jason Hodgins. Northern steps back up to the line, split wide. To the right is Palmatier, to the left Hale and Nelson. Streaking back. Oh, Shock gets hammered. Wow. He was just hit. He tried to throw the ball, but he had no place to go as the 2 Big Red defenders blasted through the line uncontested, got up in his face and just leaped on him.
Wow, Will Knight had nobody on him that time, and he just rushed in and threw a lick on Shock there.
So instead of being 1st and 10 on the 15, it's now 3rd and 10 on the 15 for the Northern Huskies. So they're going to have to do something pretty big here to move that ball in closer, or you can expect Chris Spielberg to come on and kick for 3. Nelson in motion, Shock back. Shock fakes. He throws it to Nelson. Oh, just out of Ken Nelson's reach. Shock just threw it just about 4 inches in front of Nelson's hands there, and you could see the look of anger on his face.
Okay, it appears that the Huskies will be going for a 32-yard field goal.
Okay, so Spielberg back to kick. The snap is in. He goes up.
Kick is
and
up.
Chris Spielberg
It's
puts
good.
3 points on the board for the Northern Huskies. What a beautiful kick by Chris Spielberg. And that makes all the difference in the game right there, Creston.
Wow, Northern strikes first blood here. It took them all the way 7 minutes and 50 seconds left in the third quarter to strike, but Chris Spielberg on a 32-yard field goal.
And so, Northern will be kicking the ball to the Big Reds, and the Big Reds will start their march downfield to see if they can equal or better that. It's kind of amazing to see a game go deadlocked that long, only to break in 3 points. But that's the kind of desire that each team's defense has to stop the other side in this crosstown rivalry.
Especially amazing considering that these two teams can strike at any time and have the emotions going, and anything can happen.
Nelson to kick, back to receive is Shane Talmadge and Tony Washington.
Onside.
Another onside kick covered up by the Big Reds.
Number 50, CJ Wendell, just dove on that ball.
So that was a nice heads-up play by the Big Reds to get on top of the ball on that onside kick instead of giving it up like they did on the first kick of the football game, which I'm still shocked about. Big Reds up to the line.
Sanderson looks to throw, has Ranchi open.
Kevin Napolitan on the tackle for the Huskies. But in the meantime, at least a 15-yard gain for the Big Reds from a Sanderson to Rathje connection.
Kevin Napolitan there on the tackle for the Huskies.
He's their senior safety and has been a pretty valuable part to this Huskies. Rathje splits up the middle, running. Oh, covered up by Port Huron Northern.
Port Huron Northern has the football.
What a beautiful, beautiful hit. Kevin Napolitan just laid a lick on him. Rathje let that slippery ball slide, and the right side corner just covered up.
Wow, just when we thought PH was ready to strike.
Josh Duncan on the recovery, the big man who stopped the touchdown at the end of the first half, once again comes up with a big play for Port Huron Northern, recovering a fumble. So Northern starts out on their own 12-yard line, and it gets rammed up the middle and stopped by the Port Huron D-line. Dave Stroh with the ball. Stopped by Wendell.
Okay, so it's 2nd and 9 for the Huskies.
A ball on their own 13, 7 minutes left in this third quarter. Manuelo and Dustin Allen split wide with Weston in the backfield. Hustick in motion. Weston with the ball, and he gets stopped at the 15-yard line. So a 2-yard gain for the Port Huron Northern Huskies.
Okay, so it's 3rd down and 8 for the Huskies. The ball on their own 14-yard line. Let's see what shot has in store for the Big Reds. It's a
Shot
fake.
back to pass.
Oh.
What a terrible pass. But once again, Toby Thomas just lays a hit on him, and he has absolutely nowhere to go. These Port Huron Northern receivers just don't seem to be turning around quite fast enough for Shock to get rid of the ball.
Wow, I think Toby Thomas is overmatching that offensive line a little bit with his size, strength, and speed. He's just been in there at least 5 or 6 times for the Big Reds.
Him and Shock have had some pretty close encounters today as the Huskies step back up to the line. Nelson back to punt. Jared Rathje deep on the recovery at about, or on the receiving end at about the 50-yard line. Nelson at his own 5 gets off a nice punt to Rathje. Rathje hangs on, and here he comes back upfield. Makes it through, stopped by Ed Albers. Nice tackle by Ed Albers on the special teams defense. And Rathje picked up about 10 yards on the return. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Big Reds on the Huskies 39.
Another big stand by that PH defense.
Big Reds quick up to the line. Sanderson to Rathje. Rathje gets about 4 yards on the play, and he's brought down by Josh Duncan.
Duncan's having a pretty good game so far.
Duncan's got a deflected touchdown pass, a fumble recovery, and a couple of nice tackles there. So the Big Reds back up to the line again. Sanderson, sweep right. Sanderson muscles his way back through for about 7 yards on the carry. That will leave them about 3 or 4 yards short of the first down.
Okay, so it's 3rd down and 5 now. Huskies shift, or excuse me, the Big Red shift.
And the Huskies shift with them to play that man-to-man defense. Hand off to Rathje. Rathje to the right. And he's hit by a host of poor Huron Northern defenders, but it looks like Rathje grinded his way out for a first down plus a few.
Ball's marked at the 20.
Duncan once again on the tackle.
25-yard line for the Big Reds. Let's see what Jim Rathje's squad comes up with here, Alex.
They seem to be poised to the right side of the field, so look for something, maybe a reverse to go left or something like that. Sanderson to the right. Sanderson cuts through. Sanderson! Touchdown! Angelo Sanderson! What a beautiful run. He just kept slicing and dicing, and not a Husky could get a hand on him.
That's a 25-yard touchdown run for D'Angelo Sanderson.
And boy, does that sure adds a twist to this football game. The Huskies feeling pretty secure with their 3-point lead. Find themselves now down 3 points with a possible 4th coming up.
Fowler calls timeout for the Big Reds. We'll be back after this moment.
And so the game is back on. Fowler back to kick the extra point for the Big Reds.
Tomic to hold.
It goes down. Fowler goes up, and it's a good kick. And so that puts the Big Reds up 4 points, which means that adds a whole new ball game. The Huskies have to come out with a new strategy to get the ball in the end zone because they are now down 4.
Wow, it's going to be interesting to see how the Huron Northern Huskies react to this now. See if this will pick them up or set them back.
There's still plenty of ball game left to play with 4:15 here in the third, but you've got to know now that the Big Reds are feeling pumped. This is almost a replay of last year where it came right down to the wire between the Big Reds and the Huskies, and the Huskies just edged them out.
Okay, PH set to kick the ball off with 4:15 remaining in the third quarter. Back to receive for the Huskies are Stroh, Nelson, and Weston.
Washington, look for an onside again. I just got a feeling. And once again, I'm wrong as Hustic picks up the ball. Hustic spins off once, comes up to about the 37-yard line on the return.
Hustic spins to find himself surrounded by red and white jerseys. Once again, I'd like to remind everybody that tonight's football matchup is being brought to you by CPHS 6, your award-winning cable channel. Bringing you all high school action.
The Huskies back up to the line. They spin, Stroh the ball, and around. Stroh's running. He gets about 12 yards on maybe 10 yards on the gain. So a nice run by Stroh before he's brought down by Hodgins.
It'll be close to a first down. Let's see where it's marked. He's about 6 inches short. I think they're gonna bring the chains in.
And out comes the chain gang.
Wow, it's the first time tonight, Alex.
Those guys must be getting pretty tired of just kind of standing there. They're probably thankful.
Oh, I'm sure they're running off adrenaline too, Alex. Everyone else is.
And it looks like Dave Stroh did carry for a point here on Northern first down. And so it will be 1st and 10 on their own 47. Shock down. He looks. Hustic in motion. Hands off to Stroh once more. Stroh breaks off for another big yard.
Get the ball.
Big gang. And he's brought down at about the 33-yard line.
That's a gain of 17 yards on the play.
That's 2 times in a row that the Husky offensive line just popped a big hole for Stroh to run through. And once he gets moving, it's tough to bring a big guy like him down.
Okay, we have number 88.
The Huskies up here pretty refreshed coming off of that halftime break. They're coming out running a lot more, getting a lot more yards.
We have Chris Manulo and Dave, the man Hale, at wideout.
Stroh once more. Stroh gets tripped up on about a 4-yard gain.
Keep his head up.
Dude, don't rock the fence.
Don't right by it.
Don't rock the fence, stupid.
What?
Don't rock the fence.
Oh. Don't rock.
Okay, it's second down for the Huskies. Ball on the Big Reds 32-yard line.
Eight yards to go for the Huskies. Shock, hands off. Nelson appears in trouble.
Wow, Nelson
That looks to be a 2 or 3-yard loss. So that's gonna hurt as the young Shock kind of panicked and stuffed it in Nelson's arms, and he really had no place to go. Dave Hale and Scott Palmatier are on the field as wideouts for the Huskies. Haven't seen a lot from the wideouts this game on the northern side. Weston in motion, handoff to Stroh. Stroh brought down after about 3-yard gain. the big red D looks to be keying on Dave Stroh now.
All right, it's going to be interesting to see what shot comes up with on this 4th and 8 play. Okay, we have White and Manuelo at wideouts.
White, Manuel on wideouts, Nelson at wing back, and big Dave Stroh as the lone setback on the Huskies offense. Nelson in motion, fakes the handoff. Thomas coming around, he goes to Stroh, and Stroh can't hang on.
Wow.
Incomplete pass to Dave Stroh, and so the ball will be turned over to the Big Reds on their own 32-yard line.
Wow, that was a tough break there for Stroh, who just couldn't hang on to that slippery ball that was thrown by Schock.
Schock was pretty poised under pressure there. Thomas was coming in, Taddy was coming in, and he kind of stood his ground and fired a nice pass.
Okay, 1st and 10 for the Big Reds. Sanderson drops back to pass.
Oh, popped out his head.
Intercepted!
Big Rob Nessel on the interception.
Oh, excellent hit there. Appeared to be Napolitan with another excellent stick for the Huskies.
That is the 2nd turnover on 2 plays for the Big Reds. And I think they're going to be watching some game tape after this one. But they still maintain a 7-3 lead. And the Huskies retake control on the Big Reds' 45-yard line.
Ratchie appeared to have control of that until Napolitan came in, hit him from nowhere, and the ball just popped up, and Nessel was there to scoop it up. Stroh.
Schock to Stroh. Stroh drives for about 5 yards. So there's those pounding legs of big Dave Stroh again, just working his way through the Big Red D line and grinding out yard after yard. CJ Wendell on the tackle. Manuelo and Dustin Allen check in for the Huskies as their wide receivers. Allen to the right, Manuelo to the left. Schock fumbles the ball. It looks to be picked up by the Huskies. It appears that Dave Stroh made a pretty heads-up play to fall on top of the ball.
Stroh saw that immediately and dove on that.
Good heads-up play by Dave Stroh.
Oh, we have an injured Husky down on the field.
That would be Mike Rennan, who just bounced himself back up. There's that adrenaline kicking in. He's pumped and ready to play. And so Mike Rennan gets up, walks to the sidelines under his own power.
It's a mandatory rule that once the trainers come on, the player has to come out for that play.
And so check back in is Dave Hale and Scott Palmatier.
Okay.
Schock looks to the right, looks left. Flag on the play.
Yes.
Delay of game against your Northern Huskies. That is like the third one this game. That's not good.
We have 1 second remaining in the third quarter here.
It's got to be 4 or 5. That was unbelievable. Is this third down? I'm seeing people under the t-shirts on. Is it third down? You probably just get out the door. Sweatshirts on.
Okay, with 1 second remaining in the third quarter here, let's see, the Huskies are gonna need to come up with something big.
Huskies on the Big Red 45, third down and 10. And Schock runs out of time to throw the football.
It's
Oh!
almost intercepted by Ratchie again. Cates right there. Cates broke that pass up, which was appeared to be intended to
Dave
for
Hale.
Ratchie.
And so, heading into the fourth quarter, the Port Huron High School Big Reds are leading 7-3. It will be Northern's football on the Big Reds 45. We'll be right back in a few moments.
Okay, we're back with beginning of the fourth quarter.
Ken Nelson punt.
Nice
This one
boot.
looks to be going end zone bound as Tony Washington puts his hands on it on the 2-yard line and heads back upfield. And he's breaking off, but he's hit by a host of Husky special teams defensemen.
They're not holding anybody up at the line either. Maybe they don't run the punch in the game. That would make sense to that. They're right there. They're in there. That's how it's supposed to be. Get in at the line as long as you can.
And the Huskies D steps up. Rathje in motion, hand off to Rathje. He finds a hole, and he breaks free up to about the 30-yard line. So you're looking at,
Gain of 10
oh, what a
yards.
15-yard gain by Jared Rathje. He's just having a phenomenal game today.
Absolutely, Alex.
The Huskies just can't seem to find a way to stop that. They run the same play. They just drop a hole off to the left and send Big Rathje up through it, and nobody can stop him.
Okay, 1st and 10 for the Big Reds on their own 30-yard line with 11:42 remaining in the football game. Washington keeps, finds a hole.
Washington hit by 3 or 4 Northern defenders.
It's another first down for the Big Reds on the gain of 20 by Tony Washington.
Rathje in motion, hand off to
Rathje
Rathje.
gets the
There's the
ball.
play again, and this time it's snuffed out. Mike Hickey, the big junior linebacker, puts the hit on Rathje that time.
Mike Hickey's the big man in the middle at 6'1", 210. He's only a junior. That's a big
Expect
boy.
big things from Hickey next year. He'll be leading the Husky defensive core. Sanderson brought down quick by Christofferson. Christofferson on a beautiful blitz to bring Sanderson down behind the line of scrimmage. And so it's 3rd and 13 on the 47 for the Big Reds with 10.5 minutes left in this football game.
There's Washington.
Washington
He breaks
middle force.
loose.
Washington in the 12. Touchdown. Tony Washington breaks off a big 50-yard touchdown run.
Wow, what a play by Tony Washington. There's that game-breaking speed we've been talking about.
At any time in any football game, any one of the Big Reds backs can just up and take off. And when they do, too bad for the D-backs. This time it was Tony Washington who jumps their lead up 10 points over the home team Huskies.
That was an excellent job by the whole Big Reds team on blocking.
And Fowler back to kick, looking to add one more to the total.
Oh, wow.
Brian Fowler going for the extra point attempt. It's down, Fowler, and it's good. Brian Fowler on the good extra point. It is now 14-3. Port Huron High School with 9 minutes and 59 seconds left in this contest. The Big Reds are turning it on.
Wow, Northern's gonna have to do something here. They're gonna need a few big plays here to hang in this thing.
And the Big Reds are already starting to celebrate on their sideline.
I think if PH can score another touchdown, they might have this thing wrapped up.
They feel pretty confident about the lead that they've got right now. And to be honest with you, with 10 minutes left in a football game, 11 points is quite a big lead. But set back deep for the Huskies is Trevor Weston, Dave Stroh, and Ken Gump Nelson. Tony Washington to take the kick. And it's a good kick. Back to Stroh, who lets it bounce by him. Back to the 5-yard line. Nelson picks up. He's coming back up the field, finds a hole up to the left side. He's running, gets to about the 27-yard line before he's brought down. So not a bad return for Ken Nelson, considering that Dave Stroh did let it go almost to the goal line.
Yeah, Dave Stroh made a little error in judgment there. He mistimed that ball.
And
Ball
so
just bounced past.
Nelson picked up about 17 yards on the return from the Tony Washington kick. Checking into the game is Paul Mateer and Dave the Man Hale.
Okay, let's see what the Huskies got.
Stroh set back. Handoff to Stroh. Stroh loses his footing and drops at about the 30-yard line. So Stroh picked up about 26 yards, or about 6 yards on the play.
Okay, it's 2nd down and 7 for the Huskies from their own 30-yard line.
White and Manilow split wide.
Shock fumbles again.
And it's Big Reds football.
Number 45.
That could be the nail in the coffin for the Huskies.
Toby Thomas comes up with that loose ball.
With 9 minutes left in the football game, once again the Huskies turn the ball over to the Big Reds. This time on their own 28-yard line, or on the Huskies' 28-yard line.
If the Big Reds can punch it in here, they might have this game sealed up, along with that Brick Fowler trophy.
And the Huskies have won the last 12 contests between these two teams. So this is quite a big victory if the Big Reds can pull it off. Sanderson
looks
up the
to find
middle,
a hole.
nothing doing. Tackled by
Nessel.
Big Rob Nessel. And Matt Reynolds on the tackle.
Oh, okay, 2nd down and 10 for the Big Reds from the Huskies' 29-yard line. Ball goes to Washington. He's crushed by Mike Hickey and Matt Reynolds. Gomer and Hickey right there in the stop. Okay. Gostinger snaps it. Hands off to Ratchie.
Ratchie. Oh. Ratchie keeps plowing. Ratchie grinds his way up to about the 20-yard line.
Wow, the Huskies got away with a face mask there that the refs didn't see. Ratchie isn't happy about that.
And the rain has lightened up here in the last few minutes at Memorial Stadium, but the field is still real wet and muddy. It's 4th and 4 to go for the Big Reds at about 23 yards away.
Sanderson keeps.
splits right.
Sweeps the
has
corner.
upfield. Good pursuit by the Huskies, and they bring him down at about the 21-yard line. So that will be a Port Huron Northern football once again.